installment of Black Snake Adventures Meet the Snakes. Now, so far we've had corn snakes and corn snakes and corn snakes, and then we had some more corn snakes. So I figured let's finish off with a python. A python. There we go. A lovely, lovely ball python. So this is Khan. Again, I think Khan, like Matilda, is getting ready to shed as they look a little bit darker. However, they don't quite have the milky eyes yet, so I'm not going to keep her up for long again. It's just not fair to her. But just so you can get a good look at her, this is my ball python, Khan. So Khan is a very, very, very lovely snake. I think, how old is she? Let me work it out. I think she was born the same year as Iroh, so she is 8 as well. If I get that wrong, I will put a little disclaimer out later. But I believe she's 8 years old. Now, there are 26 different species of different types of python. So she is one of the smallest. The ball python, or the royal python, are the smallest. So if you think this is the smallest one, or one of the smallest ones. She's got quite a funky belly pattern as well. Not quite like the corn snakes, sort of more patchy in places, and then you've got her patterns there. So yeah, she does normally look a little brighter. Now in the sun, the black that she has on her can look kind of rainbowy, almost like a Bowen's python or a rainbow boa, that sort of thing. It has this like iridescent sheen to it. You might be able to see if I sort of get out of the way and put her in the sunlight, but again the colours are a little skewed right now anyway as she is getting ready to shed. Hello little one. So yeah, they're very cute. They, unlike corn snakes, they have these things called nose pits. You can see the nose pits, and it's easier for them to spot like a temperature change. So if I'm feeding her, if I have the mouse really cold, so you know I've defrosted it but it's not warm at all, she won't find it, she'll struggle to find it. So what I do is I warm the mouse up in some warm water, and then I find that she strikes it almost right away, and she does have a good strike. Now corn snakes, I forgot to mention, ignoring the python for a second, they have a striking distance of between 1/3 and 1/2 of their body size, which I thought was quite scary. That's, you know, if you look at the size of them, that means they can really go for it. Now Khan, she's not so good with that, so she has, when I've gone to feed her, gone to strike the air, she's gone to strike the feeding tongs. She's not a very good aimer, but once I make, you know, now that I've, when I figured out that, you know, the hotter the mouse, the better. Obviously I don't want it burning hot, but you know, the warmer the mouse. I mean, she still misses now and again, but it does help her, you know, locate the mouse and strike. So, and I make sure she has a very, very warm mouse to have for dinner. So there we go. Now, out of all of the snakes, she is the most absolute placid, chilled, laid back, will just sit there snake ever. I have on several occasions had her around my neck while I've done chores, like I've gone to wash the dishes. You know, I've done safe chores, nothing like cooking, because I wouldn't want to risk that. But you know, for doing the dishes, she was just sat around my neck. I was just doing the dishes and she was happily sitting there. I put a clothes washer on, I put them outside, and she just happily sat there. So I can't really show you right now as she's not doing it, but they call them ball pythons because they do like to sort of scrunch up into a ball for a defensive post. She's not feeling like she needs to be defensive, so she's happily, you know, stretched out and exploring, which is a good sign. Obviously, when you get them out, normally they're in their ball position. Now, this has reminded me, seeing her draped over me like this, that I read that they're called royal pythons because ancient royalty used to wear them as jewellery. I don't know if that's true or not. I thought that was an interesting fact. If it is true, then you can kind of tell why, right? I look very regal right now, I'd say. They will just happily drape themselves on you and just sit there. As you can see, she's just chilling. Very, very, very calm snakes, very chilled snakes. Very... Oh, Hello. Very placid. So yeah, you can happily wear her and she will sit there. So yeah, I wonder if that's true or not. I don't know. Apparently that's why they're called royal pythons, but they're more commonly known as ball pythons because of their little balling antics. There we go, that's corns, and that is all of my snakes. So we've gone through all of the corns, we finished with my python. I would one day like to get a Boelen's python. Now, I mentioned earlier, they have that sort of rainbowy sheen. I would like to own one. I also like the albino Burmese python. I think they're quite sweet, but they can grow a bit bigger than I can accommodate, I think. It's a not now dream, but hopefully it's a one day kind of thing. But I've got my hands full for now with this lot. They keep me entertained and occupied and snuggled as well. Calm gives very, very good neck massages, I'll have you know. If you pop around the back of your neck, if she moves, there's such strength in her that she will just give you a lovely little massage, which is very lovely. It's not for everyone, I can completely understand, but I like it. It's good. It's better than paying for a physiotherapist or something. But there we go. I'm going to wrap it up there now. Thank you so much for watching my little series. I hope you got to know the snakes a bit more. If you have any questions, please feel free to drop them in the comments and I'll answer them as best I can. Yeah, I love talking about snakes, as you can possibly tell. I could talk about them all day. So yeah, any questions, throw them my way. Let's talk about snakes. Let's talk about snakes, baby. Let's talk about you. No, let's not do that. Thank you very much for watching. Hi, it's Sophie at Black Snake Adventures here. So just a quick disclaimer, we are about to be feeding a snake. We're going to be feeding baby Matilda with a pinky, which is the smallest mouse you can get. The mouse is not alive, so it's been defrosted. It was frozen, now it's defrosted and ready to be eaten by Matilda. So if you don't want to watch it, that's absolutely fine. Just click away now, turn it off. Get away. If it's not for you, it's not for you. I won't judge you. But if you do want to see it, please stick around. I'm going to be feeding Matilda very shortly. Okay, so here we have little Matilda. I'm just gonna get her out. Here we've got Matilda. The little one. Okay. Okay. Matilda. You can wiggle the mouse and that will help them. There we go. Okay, so she has gone to the wrong end. I was trying to feed her the head. It's easier for them to eat, and well, for them eating, it's easier for them to start at the head and work down. So she grabbed it at the middle and has worked her way down to the tail. That is fine, they can do that. It can be a little bit harder, but not so much when the food's this small. It's more tricky when the mouse is a lot bigger, and if it's a bigger snake eating it, it's a bigger mouse. It can be a lot more difficult there. So, as you can see, they can open their jaw fairly wide. They can go a lot wider than what Matilda's doing right now. As you can see, she will sort of bite down like that, and then in a minute she'll open her mouth again, get a little bit further, bite down again. Sometimes they do pull it backwards. I've seen a lot of my snakes do that. I don't know where she's going. You're going under my leg. So there we go, bite a little bit further. Bite a little bit further. I'll keep doing that until they get to the end, and then when they finally get to the end, they will work it down and be able to see that. go, you can see their head does stretch a little bit, that's okay. That is normal. They can stretch quite hard. What we are wanting to see is a little bulge in the belly when they start working it down. We'll show you. You will see, you'll be able to see it. There we go, she's making her way there. This can take some time. That is normal. They don't just eat it in one gulp. If they do, that probably means the food that you're feeding them is probably a little bit too small. So that is normal. This is normal for them to take. Well, this is actually fairly quick for a feed for such a small snake. She's not quite ready to move on to the next food group yet. So she's still on pinkies for now. And there we go, I think we're almost there. So when she's done, she will close her mouth. Sometimes when they have done that, the jaw is a little misaligned, so they'll do this almost, it looks like a yawn, where they stretch the jaw open wide, close it, and then hopefully it should be realigned and they can close their mouth fully. So sometimes it looks like they've got a slightly wonky jaw where it's not closing properly, but yeah, they correct that quite easily. Again, it's nothing to worry about because they can correct it if it happens. I don't believe it's painful to them or anything. There we go. So you can see she's able to close her mouth now, and the mouse will start getting worked down. She'll do a little serpentine movement. I should go to the left, to the right. She'll just work it down. You see how it works down. So at this point, at the feed, I'd say, you know, it's not they're not ready to be picked up yet. I normally say wait till they start moving away. Once they've worked it down a fair bit, once they start then moving and travelling, like she was just before the feed, you could see she was happily moving around. Right now she's in one place. She's just working the mouse down. So at that point, you do want to get them back in their vivs. Now, after you've fed them, you don't want to handle them much, and you don't want to lift them up by where the mouse is. You try and get either side of it, lift them up and just gently place them back in the viv. If you handle them too much after feeding, they can regurgitate the food. Obviously it's not pleasant. You want them to have the meal and then digest it as normal. So you really want to avoid handling them for a good couple of days after feeding. I normally judge it by if I can still see the bulge. If I can't and it's been a couple of days after feeding, I'd say, you know, it is safe to pick them up. I'd rather leave them, you know, at least a couple of days just to get settled, let that meal settle. I wouldn't really pick them up that soon after feeding. And there we go. As you can see, she is working it down, so it's now stretching a bit lower on her body. So you can see the bulge, can't you? If I put you there, you can see where the mouse is, right? So that's a good sign. That's what we want. We want to see that bulge, but probably a little bit further, maybe down here. If there's still a bulge here, that's normally a good sign. So the neck is just ever so slightly smaller than the rest of their body. So once it's worked down a bit, if it is bulging out, that's a good sign. So as you see, she's now moving away. She's kind of still working it down, as you see there with that little movement there. But she's starting to explore, so that will tell me that she's about ready to be put back in her viv. What I'll have to stop the video as I'm holding it in my hand so I can pick her up with both hands. So bear with me just a second. There we go. She's just going to go find a comfy place in her viv. The warm side is here. They normally need a sort of like a warm side and a cool side. So this is the cool side. They always need to hide in the cool side as well. So she can come here if she's cold and she still wants to hide. And then she wants to be warm, she can come and sit here because the heat pad will be under this part of the viv. just because she wants to go back to the warm part. She's not actually on the heat pad right now, so I will be moving her back in a sec. There we go, she's all in, all happy and fed. Put that lid back on. I'll place her back on the heat pad.